My spinal cord injury is T5, and I just completed my master's in social work from Fordham University.
My level of injury is C7, and I'm a full-time volunteer at the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
I have a C6, C7 spinal cord injury. I'm finishing up my master's in disability studies, and I run a nonprofit organization for women with spinal cord injuries and paralysis called Women on Wheels.
I'm T7 incomplete. I'm a peer mentor here at Burke.
I have a T10 injury. I am a legislative attorney for New York City Council.
My level is injury is T12, and I'm a physical therapist.
I have a T3, T4 incomplete injury. I'm trying to be a chef. Look out for me.
I'm a C6 level injury, which means I'm a quadriplegic. I'm also a full-time student, and one factor that made being a full-time student is being able to manage my bowel and bladder program.
A few weeks after injury, all my thoughts were like going back to walking. So I didn't really think about the bowel and bladder too much then.
I was trying to deal with my injury, and then they spoke about, bladder and bowel routine. I said, wow, I got to deal with more. I already got enough in my baggage. Well, I got to deal with this now.
When this happened to me, not only did I have to go through the trauma of it all, but so much is being thrown at me at once. And I, lost control of not being able to walk and things of that nature. And then to now lose control of bladder and bowel was another trauma on top of trauma.
Being told about this whole new way of managing going to the bathroom was just terrifying and felt like it's gone from bad to worse, pretty quickly.
There was a bit of depression, there's a bit of frustration because learning this stuff and after again 19 years, normal able-bodied individual.
The clock was ticking and it was 3 weeks till you go home, 2 weeks till you go home. I really started thinking shoot, I gotta get my butt in gear and start focusing on how to manage this.
My biggest fear was that I was never going to be independent. I was so afraid that I'm gonna have to depend on somebody if I needed to go to the bathroom.
My biggest fear was about hurting myself because I didn't feel, my privacy. And I wasn't sure whether, I'm introducing something in my privacy and it's gonna hurt me. And, for me, that was something, like I'm violating my own body. That's the way I felt.
Then I started to kind of realize that the bowel and bladder is actually more important than walking. I mean, I can still move around on my wheelchair. I can do that independently. But how am I going to manage my bowel and bladder?
They just told me you would have to use a catheter. Because of my hand dexterity, I wouldn't deny it. The first couple of months, I wasn't able to do it on my own because I couldn't insert it properly.
At first, it didn't feel like I was really learning about it. It was just kind of happening to me. I just had a Foley put in me. I just got suppositories put in me. I didn't really understand what my role was going to be in my bowel and bladder management.
I was so afraid, I know I'm not gonna be able to do it. I don't know what you're talking about. Somebody has to do this for me. You're gonna have to teach my husband how to do it because I'm not gonna be able to do it myself.
My fear was just that I would do what they were telling me, but it just wouldn't work on time because when I was in inpatient, it was just, my bowels specifically were very irregular.
It's very invasive to have somebody in your business who are not going to be maybe as gentle as you would be, having to be all in your business. So that wasn't something I'm looking forward to either. So that's why I was also very glad that I learned how to do it.
For about 10 days, I actually did not have any bowel movement, only, I would say watery substances was coming out. But I thought that was because of all the anesthesia, all the medications that they were giving me.
Regarding the bowel stuff, for me, that is still something I have to figure out every day because trying to do it as independently as I can. But at the time, it was a lot of experimenting because the initial medication is, there's two things, the enema, or a suppository, the enema wouldn't work on me. It just did not work on me. It would be like I would still be constipated and whatnot.
The bowel is really difficult because you don't have control your bowel. And you can, when you go out, if you don't do a right program, you're going to have problems. And I learned through mistake and also, catheterizing that I didn't do it at the right time. And when I went out, the bad thing happened. And I thought about it, hey, listen, I got to try to figure this out.
My motivation to get independent with my program and bladder was literally going to a concert without worrying for an accident, going out with my friends without worrying for an accident.
I didn't want nobody looking at my body all the time. I want my own privacy.
I wanted to, return to the kind of life that I had before my injury. I wanted to be independent. I wanted to be able to do the things that I was able to do with my family and friends.
I like to, go about and live life and not having something holding me back.
I managed it by setting goals like, okay, get this, calving situation, bowel situation down. Because in the long term, if I get this down, because I've seen a lot of videos online, like how to do it, different processes, especially with like my hands being paralyzed. If I get that down, my quality of life will improve. The biggest obstacles for the bladder situation was definitely just getting the whole setup and finding a proper setup.
If self-catheterization is an option for you, be aware that there's like 50 different kinds of physical brands and makes of catheters. And then I found a different one that was just worked no problem. I was able to do it myself with limited finger dexterity. And yeah, you got to try a bunch of different products until you find one that works.
In my case, I bought like 5 different kinds of mirrors to help me to be able to catheterize by myself, because the first one didn't work, the second one was good because there's a light, but the angle wasn't right. So until I found the right tool, then I couldn't be independent.
After about 3 years, I opted to have a Mitrofanoff procedure done so that I can catheterize through my belly button, basically. And that was life-changing. One, because at the time, my bladder was holding like 50 cc's of urine, and now I can hold 1,500.
I have an ostomy, and it really gave me a lot of independence, and I recently just had the surgery to do a suprapubic catheter, so I too can now manage everything on my own. I live independently, and I just feel a lot more in control of the situation. I don't have to be as worried about accessible bathrooms and things like that.
Of course, there are times that, you get kind of angry and frustrated. And there were times when, in the early times when I had to ask my husband to help me get changed, get wiped, get clean, I would cry and I would get frustrated, because to me, these are the things that I used to be able to do. And eventually, that anger, that frustration just kind of went away. And I just said, I have to deal with this. I just have to deal with it.
I'm a C7, and some C7s are fully independent with their bowel program, and they might be in a manual chair. And for whatever reason, I spend most of my time in my power chair, and I do need some help with my bowel program. I mean, I've probably had to explain my morning program to 20 different people now. So being confident and knowing that someone new can come in, it's just like second nature, just talk through it and just be, direct and specific with what you need.
I started, sharing my experiences with my family at first and my closest friends. And then when I started to open up and actually share the things that I was kind of going through, it made it easier because I was able to joke about it. I was able to make fun of the things that I'm not able to do. And that kind of took the shame and the embarrassment from it all.
With my husband, I got a lot of accidents all the time, but it doesn't matter no more because he accepts it. He's okay with it, so I'm okay.
I think something that would have been really helpful for me was to learn how to catheterize from a chair. And not everybody has the time to become strong and to figure out, how are you going to pull your pants off and then get them back on. And I didn't learn that until last summer, really.
One, I wish I would have learned about sepsis. That was fun. And sepsis is basically when you let an infection get to out of hand, it goes to your bloodstream. And that affects your entire body. It affects your brain. I lost my mind for a whole 2 months. I did not know who I was, where I was. I was in a whole nother universe. I was in the hospital for like 4 months over an infection that got out of hand. So I wish I would have learned about sepsis.
If I had learned maybe about the different options through enema, like maybe that would have allowed me to live independently a little sooner than I was able to.
I wish they would have taught me to wear like a lay bag and a catheter when I go out. So when something happened between catheterizing, it can go to my lay bag instead of me getting wet in front of people.
Well, I wish someone had told me how difficult it's going to be. And that it wasn't going to be something that I would learn completely in like 1 or 2 weeks or even 2 months, that it was going to be ongoing, that, for the rest of my life, it's just I'll have to deal with different changes in my body,
I mean, it changed a lot because now I got more control of it and I learned my body a little more. Normally before I take a shower, I catheterize and I do what I gotta do and I do my bowel routine. And when I take a shower, I know that like maybe 2 hours later, I gotta catheterize again.
I know now when I need to empty my bladder. I know now when maybe I didn't move my bowels enough, that maybe I need to drink a little bit more fluid. I need to change my diet, throw in a smoothie or a salad here and there, whatever. You just learn your body.
For everyone, it's different. I think some people get to the point where they can feel the urge where they need to urinate or empty, and then they go do it. I don't have that. I don't have any feeling at all. So I just have to look at the clock. I know that every 4 hours I have to, relieve my urine.
In my case, I became a better planner because I plan ahead. If I'm going to go somewhere, okay, now I know what time I'm going to cath. I need to know what schedule, what kind of bathroom they potentially will have. So, it's something that eventually will be just a normal part of your life, but it's just going to be a different kind of normal.
And it's also really important to have a good relationship with a urologist that you can see, specifically in the beginning, because like I said, there are so many options and there's different medications that can help with holding more and going longer. So, it takes a little bit of effort, but it's so important. It's worth the time.
For anybody injured, newly injured, however long you've been injured, the best thing I can say is there's no point in feeling down, no point in being sad forever, because you won't help yourself whatsoever.
It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to even fail sometimes, but just don't give up. Keep going. You can't, give up because you weren't able to do it the first 10 times that they taught you how to do it.
It's prior to my injury, I was a big health addict and whatnot, and I just continued that. Okay, got to take care of myself, go to the gym, do this and that, make sure I'm healthy, diet, exercise, and just taking care of myself. Self-care was a big thing with me. Be comfortable being uncomfortable, because no matter what, there's going to be little things that affect you every day, but just get used to the uncomfortability where it's comfortable.
I remember getting a binder of information of catheterizing and suppository to help with bowel, and I did not open that binder. I was still going through the process of the trauma of what happened to me, but there was a CNA who came in and she was like, yeah, read that binder on your own time, but I'm giving you a mirror and I'm going to show you what to do because you're going to need to know this information when you leave here. To have someone who went through it say, look, this is going to happen. It's going to be okay. You're going to get control of it.
From day one of my sisters said, I follow somebody on Instagram. She's a young woman, she's a dancer, she's a wheelchair user. And so right off the bat, I was able to see other young women leading full lives. And then also, they talked about their routines, bowel and bladder routines, and that really, really helped me.
I do participate in support groups, and I have a peer mentor, that I talk to. She gave me some strategy. She gave me a lot of tips. So talking to somebody who actually went through the same things going through the same things as I am, really helped a lot.
A year and a half after my injury, when I started spending time with other people who had several similar level injuries with me that were doing like so much more than I was. They were just so much more capable, and I realized that I was kind of holding myself back because I was just like, oh, whatever, I can't do that. You know, seeing other people can be really inspiring when you see what they can do.
Being able to be independent with my bowel also gave me peace in some way, because I took control over something that I lost control of. You know, I can't control my legs and the spinal cord injury, but at least I can control when I go to the bathroom.
Having my surgery is what allowed me to get much more control over my bladder situation. Before then, I wasn't going out for extended periods of time, right? Because you have to be cathing at a certain time. You have to be home within 4 to 6 hours. But once I was able to cath myself, like, you can catch me at home, like, you know what I mean? And it probably is what assisted in me being able to travel so much, because I would also be terrified. I would get infections so often with the indwelling catheter. I would be terrified to go out of the country and have to be hospitalized. So I didn't.
Being independent is a must. Like, it's non-negotiable.
Take control back for me was I can sit in my chair. If I have to, I can turn into a corner and kind of just handle my bathroom situation. Like, feel confident to go out that I can manage both of my bowel and bladder functions on my own.
Taking control back to me means that I can live a productive life.
Being in tune with my body, getting control my own within myself, helps my own situation.
Taking control back is acceptance, right? So you don't have to accept that you're not going to walk again if you don't want to. But do accept that in the interim, perhaps, you have to manage your bowel and bladder. So you might as well learn what you need to do it properly, so that you don't have to miss out on being social, you don't have to miss out on dating, you can feel independent, you can regain your confidence. You'll get all these things back sooner if you learn to manage your bowel and bladder in the beginning. Everything else will come after.
It's not the end, it's a new beginning.
Start thinking about the future more, because being stuck in that, thinking just about the bowel and bladder, you're just stuck in there and you're not thinking about what am I going to do next.
It's gonna be bad for a little while, but you're gonna learn. You're gonna realize, oh, it's not a big deal. It's part of the process. And once you get through that process, your life is just normal. Different, but normal.
You know, you'll be surprised what you'll end up doing. I go see concerts all the time, and done some overnight travel, go out to dinner, fully socialized.
4 months after my injury, we went out camping. So I went out camping with my friends and my family. We were able to travel out of the country on a plane, yes. We went to Mexico.
I go to Dominican Republic, I hop in the plane by myself. I go to Florida by myself. I just, call the airline, book a flight, put all my medical supplies in the bag, and go about.
I was not even really thinking a lot about bowel and bladder management. I was just thinking of where am I going to go next? What am I going to do next? It's not something that stops me from doing the things that I wanted to do.
I do like water skiing, hang cycling, skydiving, surfing, you name it, I do a lot of different sports.
Don't let your bowel and bladder consume you and control you.
Slowly but surely, you get there.